Our next witness is witness number 28. You'll find the evidence at page 355 of the bundle. Good morning. The chair will now swear you.
سلام خدمت
Hello to the honorable judges.
Good morning, Madam Witness. Would you repeat after me, please?
صبح شما هم بخیر.
I solemnly declare that I
باشه
will,
چشم. من سوگند یاد می
I solemnly declare
that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
There'll be questions now from counsel, followed by questions from the panel.
Thank you. The witness is testifying about the killing of her brother, who was shot on 16 November by a bullet in his heart. Can you please briefly inform the tribunal of the events that happened on 16th November and the shooting of your brother? The panel has received your statement, which is thank you. We thank you for that. So be please very brief about the events that you witnessed.
برادر من
My brother, in the afternoon, about 5:30 to 6 p.m., was coming back home from work. While he was coming home, I had a telephone conversation with him. He was saying that he was going home. I told him it's cold. Go home. Don't stay out. He said, I'm really tired. I want to go home. According to my mom, he went home. He had a snack, took a shower, had some fruits, then went out to do something that was related to his job. My mother insisted that he shouldn't go out because it's cold and there is some protest and unrest outside. He said, I won't go anywhere special. I'll be back soon. He went out anyway after an hour or an hour and a half, and he had telephone conversations with his brothers and sisters. He had no problem. He was fine. And after an hour and a half or 2 hours later, whatever telephone calls were made, he did not respond. There were no response until someone took his phone and answered and said that the number that you're calling is unable to respond. He's been hit, he's been shot, and he has fallen on the ground. My family got agitated. My mother, my other sister, they were so agitated they didn't even ask where they should go. They went to the hospitals looking for my brother. After they went to 3 different hospitals, they finally found him in the 3rd one. And when they got there, my brother's body had not been brought yet. They were looking for him. They couldn't find him. Finally, they realized that a car had just arrived and carrying the body of my brother. When he was put on the stretcher, taken for resuscitation, he received shocks a few times. He received heart massage several times, but to no effect. Finally, he was taken to the morgue. And that was it. The following day, when the body was not handed over to us, until the 3rd day, that is to say, 2 days had passed since his death when his body was given to us. According to my sister, who explained to me what went on at the hospital on that day, she said that there were so many plainclothes officers in the emergency room that they didn't even allow any patient to be sent to the operation room. They just gave a shock to the patients and some heart massage, and then they sent them to the morgue. If a patient could have been saved through operation, still they didn't allow the patient to be taken to the operation room. And the medical team, the nurses who were involved in resuscitation of the patients,
the witness, Mr. Chairman.
همینجوری
were crying for all the young people. They said nothing could be done for these young people, and my brother was among them. After a lot of effort and going to the IRGC intelligence department and going to the Governor General's office, finally we were allowed to receive the body of our brother. It took 2 days after giving a lot of commitments, and we committed not to have any interviews with the foreign media. We committed not to have any interviews. After signing so many commitment papers, they released my brother's body. And they caused a lot of nuisance during this time. They called us all the time, and they said that they were calling and that they were going to come and have an interview with us from the TV so that our brother would be considered as a martyr and to be covered by the Martyrs organization, Martyrs Foundation. But we did not allow them to hold an interview with us. We said that our brother is a martyr, but he's a martyr in the way of his country. He's a martyr for Iran, not a martyr for the government. So they asked us for a lot of these commitments, and they gave the body to us, and we buried the body.
بعداً هم که دیگه شکایت کرد
And afterwards, of course, we lodged a complaint with the intelligence services, with the police, against the perpetrators. We wanted the killers to be identified, to be punished, but no rights were given to us. We were deprived of the right of having a lawyer, and every time that we addressed ourselves to them, they said that they themselves would pursue the matter, and there is no reason for us to pursue the matter. We would say we want to have a lawyer. They would say, no need, we will do it. So we were not allowed either to have a lawyer or to pursue the case ourselves. They told us that your brother, your son, was killed by ordinary people. He was not killed by one of the officials. Whereas after some time, passed from this incident, we went around in our area and we asked those who resided in the area and they had been there, and they told us the officials of the police force themselves, they killed him because they were shooting people from rooftops. And one of the eyewitnesses who was present there then, because he lived there, he also told us that in the melee, when people were protesting, a number of vehicles came, the vehicles of the plainclothes officers. The plainclothes officers alighted and they started shooting towards people. That is not the case that the protesters had any kind of weapon in their hands, or cold weapon, or firearms. They had all gone there with empty hands, and all the shooting was done by the officials and by the plainclothes officials. And afterwards, in the death certificate of my brother, it was recorded that something had hit him, whereas those who were familiar with military weapons said that this bullet was a bullet that would be used in a war weapon, not just anything. He was killed by a bullet that is used during the war. In some, they did not allow us to do anything, not to have a lawyer, not to pursue the matter. They said they would do it themselves. And now that the 2 years have passed after this incident, they have not introduced the killer to us. They have not identified him, and they have not said who targeted my brother and killed him.
You mentioned in your statement that your family paid 100,000 2 months for the price of bullet. Is that correct?
بله.
Yes, they obtained money from us. Of course, they did not tell us it is the money for the bullet, but they said transfer such and such an amount to such and such an account so that we delivered the body to us. It was not a very high amount, but we paid it.
It was stated by them that the bullet actually was from others, as you refer to it. Did they refund that money?
نه خیر.
No, they did not refund us with the money.
I have no further question. The panel will ask questions for you.
Good morning, Madam Witness. I have a couple of questions. I'll start off where the council left off. And perhaps this is a question that council can help with as well. But there's a reference to money being paid for the bullet, but there's also a reference to being offered martyr status. There's normally one or the other. So do you have an idea as to why they were asking for money and saying that he was a martyr?
Whatever they said, we did. We don't know the reason why. Why they asked for money and why they wanted to consider my brother a martyr under the cover of the Martyrs Foundation. All we wanted to do was to take delivery of the body as soon as possible. So we did whatever they asked us to do, to pay the money, to give the guarantees. All aim was to get the money, the body as soon as possible and to bury it.
When they offered to make him a martyr, did they also offer diya or blood money? And I apologize that these questions are difficult, so I do apologize for that.
No, it's all right.
بله.
Yes, that's what they said. They said that they would pay blood money for him to be covered by the Foundation for the Martyrs, because of which then you will always get a stipend of some sort.
And just to clarify, you said in your testimony that you refused that status. Can you explain a little bit more why that was the case?
We refused because I feel that this foundation that they have started, called the Foundation for Martyrs, is a foundation which is supervised and controlled by the government. And it's a means of betrayal. Even those who were the martyrs of war, the martyrs of holy war and defense, even for those martyrs, they have a different aim. those people who died in the war, they wanted to defend the country. They wanted to defend the honor of their countrymen. Unfortunately, they have betrayed those goals as well. And therefore, you cannot say that this is a foundation that works in favor of the martyrs. It is a foundation which is controlled by them. Yeah, they do pay some money to the families of the martyrs. But when you see that they have trampled upon the aims of the martyrs and they have betrayed the war martyrs, surely we did not want to have a share of that betrayal.
Question on this line of questions. Did that impact on where your brother could be buried in the cemetery?
Well, to bury my brother, it was like the other people. We buried him to the cemetery of our city. No, it doesn't have a great impact, no.
Because we had understood in earlier testimony that in a cemetery there is a section where martyrs are buried and there's a section where others are buried. Did that impact on where within the cemetery your brother was buried?
According to the custom that we have, we just buried him in the ordinary plot of the cemetery, not in the section for martyrs.
Thank you. You also mentioned with regards to the death certificate that you used the term "those familiar with weapons told us that it was a bullet from a war weapon." Who are you referring to there?
People that I cannot name here. The people who were either military or those who had gone through their military service. In any event, there were people who were familiar with war weapons.
My last section, you spoke about your inability to have a lawyer, etc. Did you file an official complaint with regards to the killing of your brother?
A complaint in which we would write something and present it to the court. No, they did not allow us. They opened the file themselves, but we went to them several times and we said, what are the results of your review of the case? But they told us, no, you shouldn't come here at all. There is no need. We pursue the matter. When we come to a conclusion, we will let you know. But unfortunately, they never came to a conclusion, it seems. It's been 2 years. And although we are sure that government agents killed him, and also the protesters who were there had no weapons at all. They were there with empty hands, or if they anything, they would throw a stone or something. Nobody had a weapon to shoot. We know that, and we are sure that government agents killed him. But the authorities have not introduced the murderer to us, neither have they pursued the matter.
When you say they didn't allow it, are you there referencing the IRGC?
The files for the ones who were killed were with the police. They were at the police station. And that's the routine. When you have cases for murders, for killings, they go to the police, and therefore the files were opened for them also in the police. But the IRGC also was involved in this because they also called us a number of times. They contacted us. They would tell us, you have to come here. and the members of our family would go to them, and every time they would talk to us in the context of the guarantees that they had given. Don't interview anybody, do not be in contact with foreign media, and such threats.
Final question: the guarantees, the commitments that you were asked to make, they were made to the IRGC to secure the release of your brother.
بله.
Okay.
بله.
Yes. Yes, these commitments, yes, we did to the information services of the IRGC. Yes.
So much for your time, and you have our condolences from the panel.
خواهش میکنم.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am grateful to you for all the trouble that you go through, for all your work. And I hope that your efforts bear fruit one day and we see a free Iran, and the blood that was shed by our loved ones would not have been in vain.
Good morning, witness. I have just one question for you, just to clarify earlier testimony that you gave, which, and I may have missed this, and if I did, I apologize for making you repeat it. But you mentioned that your family was offered blood money. You said they offered blood money. Can you say who they is? Was it the IRGC? Was it some other group?
It was the information services of the IRGC. Those are the ones who would contact us. When I say they, generally, I mean the information services of the IRGC, who consistently contacted us for these matters.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your testimony.
خواهش میکنم.
You're welcome.
Thank you. No further questions from counsel.
No further. Madam Witness, thank you very much for testifying. We appreciate how difficult it must have been, and we will take into account everything you've said. Thank you.
Thank you for your
خسته نباشید و
Thank you for your hard work.